Welcome back, everyone. Bart and Jennifer Mills back with us today. They are doing rom-coms with a twist for music lovers, right? I love that idea. Okay, let's start with When Harry Met Sally. I joked with you before we started. I was like, was that a big musical feel? But the soundtrack and some of the classic standards, that's what gets
Yeah,
on
well,
this,
we
right?
started off talking about doing just romantic comedies.
Right.
But there's too many, and B, it's not really my strength. So we decided to narrow it down into, because there were a few that we really wanted to squeeze in, and we realized the theme was music.
Sure.
And so this is, I mean, obviously When Harry Met Sally is kind of the first of the new generation of rom-coms, probably top of a lot of people's lists, but you forget that Harry Connick Jr. soundtrack.
Yeah.
And what it is just him doing versions of the American songbook throughout. And there's some wonderful needle drops in there, including, of course, It Had to Be You, What Do You Do on New Year's Eve? And then, of course, you can't forget, we get the brilliant Billy Crystal version of Sorry with the Fringe on Top.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But it's a perfect example of how Rob Reiner, the director, just puts that music in there and just lays it down. And it's almost a third character in the movie. So that's why we chose that one first.
That's a real good one. Okay, 13 going on 30. That, I forgot, Jennifer Garner's in this, and it's got this weird Freaky Friday feel because her personality, she's explained what happened there.
She makes a wish when she's 13.
Okay.
She wants to be an adult.
Okay.
And then she wakes up and she's 30.
Yeah.
But she has no memory of anything that happened during that period of time. So all of her friends and everybody she knew from high school is now an adult.
Yeah.
And so she has to jump into that role.
And she's still doing the music, because I remember there's a thriller thing they're all doing. And
well, that was when they were at the holiday Christmas party.
Okay.
And she's just trying to get everybody out on the dance floor and just sort of get everybody in the Christmas spirit. And so she choreographs everyone to dance to Thriller, which is one of the best scenes of the movie.
Oh, it's a great scene. I love that.
But the whole soundtrack is all, you know, the best of the 80s. You've got Rick Springfield, Go-Go's, Pat Benatar, you know, Billy Joel. Yeah. A lot of really great music.
Some good stuff. Okay, singles, you had to remind me about this one, but this had quite a cast too, and a lot of music in it as well.
Well, absolute killer soundtrack. And really when the Seattle grunge scene was in full swing, you know, Cameron Crowe just featured so many different Seattle bands. You had Soundgarden, you had Smashing Pumpkins, you had Paul Westerberg from the Replacements, you had Alice in Chains, and all of these bands doing cameos throughout. So it was really, if you were into the grunge scene, perfect. And then, of course, you've got the romance between Bridget Fonda and Matt Dillon and Kira Sedgwick and Campbell Scott. So, yeah,
how can you beat that, right? Okay, Bart, back to Sing Street, set in Ireland, right?
Great Irish movie. 2016. John Carney, who also did Once and Begin Again, a couple of other great musical movies. But this one is, it's the opposite side of that homage to the 80s.
Right.
And you know what generation we grew up in, because all our movies are about 80s music for the most part. But this is the music that we called progressive back then. So you have this amazing collection of The Jam and Clash and Aha and Spandau Ballet. And you have an incredible list of music that was written specifically for the movie. The movie is about a bunch of Irish kids in a Catholic school who start a band for the same reason we all did, which was to get a girl. And so they write these original music. And the original music was written by Adam Schlesinger. And Adam Schlesinger was Fountains of Wayne. If you haven't listened to Fountains of Wayne,
oh my God,
one of the
stop
greatest,
everything you're doing in your life
right now.
and deep dive on Fountains of Wayne.
Century.
Off to the side of the road.
Tragically, Schlesinger died in 2020. But this was some amazing music that he wrote. And it's just a wonderful homage to the real 80s progressive sound. So it's just a charming movie.
One of the movies I didn't know much about, music and lyrics, it sounds like that kind of is a generational thing, because Hugh Grant's 80s guy, and then he's trying to get things going again, right?
Yeah, Hugh Grant. This is Hugh Grant and Drew Barrymore, so rom-com royalty, if you will. Hugh Grant plays basically Andrew Ridgeley, the guy that nobody remembers from Wham. And so, you know, and so this is full of, again, just a lot of really sort of classic 80s tune. And I just realized that I gave Adam Schlesinger credit for Sing Street. Adam Schlesinger actually wrote the music for Music and Lyrics. Gary Clark, who is a Scottish author, wrote all the music for Sing Street, so I'm wrong about that. You can get that in edit, right?
Right, we're going to take care of all that.
But nevertheless, I mean, again, these are these 80s pop tunes throughout, and it's just a funny, charming movie. Music at the center of it, and it starts off with these kitschy 80s tunes that they would have sung back then, and it ends up with these lovely sort of versions of what would have happened if these artists were still writing today.
Yeah,
and so
good idea.
another, you know, it's Valentine's Day coming up. Sit down with a few of these movies and just enjoy the music and pick up the soundtracks.
Yeah, that's really good. We didn't have time. Honorable mention to Boomerang, right? 1992.
Yep.
A good
great movie, but everybody should catch it.
Right. Everybody's beautiful in the movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Good
Thank you,
seeing you.
Jeff.
Don't go away. We'll be back right after this.